Okay, my friend. Excellent topic today, I think. The concept of menticide. What does that mean? It indicates an organized system of judicial perversion, psychological intervention in which a powerful tyrant transfers his own thoughts and words into the minds and mouths of the victims he plans to destroy or to use for his own propaganda. Menticide is what has happened to the population by the powerful tyrants in academia. Okay, my friends, this is truly excellent. This is the Academy of Ideas and how to stop being a slave to the opinions of others, which has what's happened. I see it, it's just pervasive. Now, what does it mean to be a slave to others? Most people can never even for a moment disentangle themselves from the restraints imposed by those around them, nor can they disregard their approval. Anyway, from the moment they begin to understand the parents' smiles and frowns, they have needed that moment-to-moment approval of everyone, even strangers. These people measure their entire worth by what others think of them. If they go against what others think, then they feel worthless. They think they can't stand on their own 2 feet. Basically, that's the way I see it. Their only value is if other people think they can use them and abuse them, and it's amazing, really, that people can't stand up for themselves. Okay, here's Seneca, a long time ago. I have never wished to satisfy the crowd. For what I know, they do not approve of. And what they approve of, I don't know. I don't know how they could possibly come up with approval for what they approve of. Okay, my friends, I've been talking about these books that Paul Amatucci is writing about my research. And this was about Atlantis and the Sahara. In 2015, I wrote papers. He's going back to some of my earliest research. And he's saying it's by Roger Spur. Well, these are my papers. He's taken, I have nothing to do with the books whatsoever. I don't profit from them, and I don't put anything into them other than my papers. I told him, go ahead and show my papers, perfectly fine. And he's showing introduction to mud fossils and geology and all this. Now, they are written basically as starter books for people to start to understand the real world that we live in. And I mean, he's very prolific. We got a lot of books, and so we're going to be going over them. And this is what I believe is Atlantis. And that was the case I made long ago. And I believe now they're starting to understand, yes, it probably likely is. And the crazy thing is, it looks like an event happened here what drained what was probably the Sahara Ocean at one time, and it all drained out through there. You can see there's quite an obvious runoff, and that actually created, I believe, the Cape Verde Islands and this flat, muddy spot, which is called an alluvial plain. It's just a flat bunch of mud that ran off of here. And again, I think I might have said this already, but Plato said they'll never speak of mud again. So much ran out of here, like the whole... Now, it looks to me like it all happened at the same time as Typhon was attacking this fish, because some of it appears to be running over the back of the fish. Now, did it all happen at the same time? It looks like it did, because it's all running around the fish. And I mean, I don't know if the fish was in an ocean here. I can't imagine this thing being able to swim around. I don't even in the whole ocean of the world. It can just barely get around. These things are gigantic. I have no explanation for The size of these creatures related to the size of the Earth. At one time, who knows? The Earth might have been one big flat plane, yes, spinning flat like a big disc. Just think of that made into a pizza. That's okay. I can live with that because it would eventually condense and turn into a ball. And that's what Hesiod said. Because there's no question what it is today. And there it is right there. So, I have a lot of people that want to go use the ancient texts in the Bible or wherever they saw it said the earth was flat. And they might have very well believed it in a lot of the ancient texts. And maybe it was flat at one time. I have no problem with that. But it's not flat now. And these creatures are here. So I have no explanation for how they could have lived on this earth, what they ate, who their friends were, or if they played games. I have no idea. But I do know they are here. They are laying on the surface of this earth. And they are gigantic, and they are exactly, precisely what was written in the ancient texts about these creatures, and about the red flared eye, and about the unkempt, flashy hair and feathers and so forth, and about his dragon-scaled throat. And all of this is run off in blood. And this is where his throat was cut by Zeus with his great and mighty sword, which creates blood. Blood creates green. Everything grows green in blood. And that's the blood that we know. That's why it's so green right there. And that creature covers this whole North Africa. It's precisely what they wrote, and it's on maps from 1375, I believe. And what we have to deal with is this. This really is history. It's not mythology. It's history. What we are living in is a non-real history. And until we start to realize what history really was like, and I'm telling you, it's exciting as can be, but it is scary, I got to admit. And you have to overcome the menticide. I think I spoke about menticide already. You have been brainwashed to believe and to want to be accepted. You have to keep saying the same things everybody else says. That's basically peer review. It's follow the leader, and then you'll be okay. Go around the edges and say, wait a minute, can I ask you this? No, you can't. You can't ask that. And if you have evidence, don't you dare ask it. And I have evidence. Everything I say, I'm a material scientist. This is here. You deal with it however you can with your own mind, because your mind could be destroyed right now. And you think you're perfectly happy, deluded. That's what I say, PhD, perfectly happy, deluded. You just think everything's fine because you are the authority telling everybody else what to think. And I have found 100%, not 99, 100% will not even engage, will not engage. It won't engage, it won't talk. No returns of emails, no nothing. Although Yale did eventually write a paper that confirmed exactly what I said, perfectly preserved, soft-bodied creatures. And they put that out a year after I put out my book complaining that nobody would listen. So it's time we get this worked on here and get some reality in our lives. I'm telling you, this is just, I'm flabbergasted. I never, ever thought this was going to become a battle. I thought it was going to become, wow, look at this, ooh, ooh, ooh. No, it's not. It is a freaking battle, my friends. You have no idea. Trust me, none. Okay, my friends. This is one of the edges of the rings, I believe, of Atlantis. Now look at this. These look like they could be very well easily used as inlets and little channels to come up to this ring. So it looks like to me. And there may have even been something going on in this layer right here with all those little dark spots. What that is, I'm not certain. I think I know what's going on here. But you can see there's like these little channels coming in everywhere, and there was several rings to Atlantis, and they all have these channels running from each ring to the next ring, and the mound is in the center. Now, when you look at this, you would think that this all ran out and carved all this out. It's just the opposite. This is mounded up, and I can't explain this, to be perfectly honest with you, but the elevation right here is 1,700 feet. Over here is 1,300 feet. So it's up higher here, 400 feet dipped down. So this is a build up. I originally thought that was just washed out through here, because the straits are right up here, but the straits right now are just about the same altitude. You know, they're the same. It's like 1,414 feet here, and it's 1,382 over here, so it's a little bit higher. And I think everything ran out across here from that straits. And that's what Plato said. He said Atlantis was outside the straits. Everybody thought it was the Straits of Gibraltar. I think it was this straits. And this apparently is a runoff, because here is a low altitude here too, somewhere around in here. It's only 900 feet or something. But anyway, I think somehow it ran around here and then eventually just piled up. And that's the highest altitude that was left over here, is here. But this is piled up. This is higher than it is over here. So, and all this stuff ran out and created the Cape Verde Islands and this, what they call an alluvial plain, which is just a flat spot out here of mud. And Plato said that they would never talk about mud again. after all this mud ran out, he said they'll never speak of mud again. I love the way those guys talked.